big data.
Okay.
The sequence is, yeah, it works. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is like data for big data, we have different components to deal with the data from Hive, okay, pig, pig scripts you can write, and HDFS file system, you can get the data from there and all. But these big data components, I'll be able to give you the theoretical information, like how it works and all. Because I don't have any big data setup, I'll be able to help you like how to give the URAs and how to get the data from different name nodes and data nodes and all. Okay. But whereas the integration components, which are little different from the big data components, like database components, file components. So these are the different types of components are available, which I'll be able to explain you and show you the with examples as and when required. Is that fine, Neeraja?
So the data integration is like we are getting data from databases.
See, the data, basically what data integration means is we have source system
Okay.
and we have a target system.
Okay.
Now, in between what happens is I need to apply some logics or transformations as per the customer requirement. That is what I do here. Transformations or calculations, whatever the customer will do. So now this part, source to target, by doing these kind of transformations and calculations through any of the ETL tool, any of the data integration tool, I can say. This is data integration. Now, what is data warehousing and what is ETL means? I have a source and now I'm doing the same kind of transformation. And Nirja, if you have any questions, please stop me at any point of time. Okay? If you're not able to understand or if you want one concept to be repeated again, please let me know.
No, actually I have ETL
Knowledge.
Informatica experience.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So the best advantage with Talend is this can be used in both the scenarios where I can do the data integration, where I will not be having any kind of data warehousing architecture here. I'll be simply loading the data from source to target into different tables by applying some of the transformations or calculations. And the same Talend tool can be used to load the data into a data warehouse. Okay, which are organized tables and into which you can load the data, which is nothing but the target. Yeah. So
Okay,
this
so
can be used for both the purposes. Yes.
yeah, mainly here the work is concentrated like in the first scenario, like we take the source tables, transform it and push it into the big data
Environment,
system.
HDFS file system, is
Yeah,
it?
yes. So and
Okay.
also using how to use Spark and Hive in the talent context.
Spark and Hive. Yeah. Spark, I'm not aware, to be frank, but I'll try to get
Okay,
some information. Okay.
okay, okay,
So whatever the concept that we deal with big data related stuff, I'll try to provide you the much information because I know the way how it will be worked in Talend and you know the way how it is actually organized and maintained in the Hadoop file system, right? So if
yes,
I say like, Nirja, this is the place in this component where you need to give the name node information, then you'll be able to identify how you can give the information there, right?
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So coming, if it comes to the big data components, I'll be able to help you with how does that functions
okay,
and what values should be given there to get the data from some point.
okay,
Coming to the data integration, here we don't have any big data components. Okay,
okay,
this is altogether like file components, database components, Excel components, and there is a powerful component called T map. Okay, where you can do all the transformations, conversions, calculations, everything, if and else conditions, everything. So this is data integration. So I have actually two different sections of training for these two. When I am speaking about data integration, I'll not speak about big data and vice versa. So since you are, since you are interested in learning both the concepts here, so what I'm going to do is when we actually start the classes, I list out the components. Okay, what are covered in data integration and what are covered in big data, and from there those components we will be taking the components that you are interested in, and we will discuss about them. That is one point. And the second point is going to be how does this studio GUI looks like, how to connect the components, and what are the links mean to, if you're connecting two components with one link, what happens with the other link, what happens. So that kind of information. Hello?
Yes.
Yes. So the first thing is the components. Second thing is uh, Studio GUI. And the third thing is metadatas. You might be knowing about this, right? Metadata, repository,
Yes.
the context files.
Yes.
So we'll discuss about these things, and we'll see. Yeah. So meanwhile, let me take you to quickly through the demo, so that it will give you the little more information about apart from what we have discussed. Okay.
Okay.
Basically, what happens is you might be knowing this slide. Okay. Since you are already having the experience of working on big data, so what happens is the data is growing very much faster nowadays. The
Yes.
data is growing very much faster nowadays in the sense that we are capturing more information in the source. Why we are capturing more information in the source is the customer or the end user want more information in his reports so that he can take an effective decision on his business. So since the end user requirements in the reports are being changed, growing, so to accommodate the data into those reports, we have to capture heavy information or huge information. So that is the reason where corporate data is growing in volumes and volumes. And Talend is capable of processing the data quicker, faster, and easier. Okay, so the data processing will be easier here. And when you are having complex logic to be implemented in a data integration platform or a data warehousing platform, Talend will give us the flexibility of splitting that logic into different subjobs. Subjob is nothing but a part of the job, and linking that part of the job with the other part of the job. So that in future, if you require to do any kind of enhancements to a particular part of code, you don't need to disturb the other areas of the code. Okay, that means it is having the flexibility of connecting the single logic with multiple sublogics, and it is having it is not that much expensive when compared with data stage and informatica and other ETL tools. So in the current budgeting scenarios, companies are actually preferring to invest lesser money, comparatively lesser money, to get the more advantage of the tool. So Talend is best suited in that way also. So Talend is a open source data integration platform, leading developer, and it can be used for ETL purpose and data management technology. Data management is nothing but data integration, and a unified repository for storing and reusing the metadata. Since you have already worked on Informatica, you might be knowing we can define the schema once, or we can define the database connection once and make use of that as and when required. So that can be dealt in a different way here in Talend. We will be seeing that when we jump into the actual classes. And it is having huge connectors. Okay, that means if you want to connect to any of the source data, you have one component available. Using Talend, for example, I can get the data from SAP. I can get the data from what do you say, XMLs. I'm talking in the data integration perspective. Of course, in the big data perspective, you are having a lot of components to get the data from HDFS system and load the data into HDFS system, and get the things done. Any questions, Neerja, so far?
No question.
Okay, thank you. So this is the Talend history. It has started in 2005, and they started their first product in 2006, and there are millions and millions of downloads of the Open Studio, and now he is Talend is now, I'll give you an example like how Talend is emerging in the markets. Now they are integrating, they are trying to establish Talend Big Data on cloud. Okay, that means you have the product available in a studio where you can simply log into the talend.com site, get the Open Studio version downloaded. The second thing is get the licensed version by paying some money to Talend company. Third thing is you can get the cloud support also for the talent. So he's growing in the market like anything, in the data integration side of this, market. Like I said, it is having two types of product offerings. One is Talend Open Studio, and which we call as TOS, is Talend Open Studio. And second thing is, this is licensed version, which we call as Talend Integration Suite. So this one you can go to talend.com site and get the Talend Open Studio. And Talend Open Studio is available for data integration, for big data, for data quality, so for MDM. And the same products are available in the licensed version also. So now what is the difference between the Open Studio and the licensed version? Open Studio means no client server architecture. That means your desktop or laptop is the client or server, but here it is client server architecture available. Like you can have a server where you will install the Talend, and from client machine you can access it. Yeah. Second point is single user. This is single user single user usage. But here, since you are having client server architecture, you will be able to get the multi-user usage or accessibility, I can say. And the Talend Studio components are limited. I mean, we will say they're limited, but still we have something around 250 to 300 components. 300 plus components are there. Okay. And here in the Integration Studio, comparatively more components when compared with the Open Studio. Of course, we are paying the money, that's why we are getting more components. Yeah. And another difference is we can't schedule the jobs here. Job scheduling is not possible. Okay. And here the job scheduling is possible because we are going to get a very good component called Talent Administration Center, which we call as TAC in short. Okay. So job scheduling can be done. And here single project. This is a single project accessibility. And here it is multiple projects. We will see this. We will see this as when we jump into the actual classes. Any questions, Neeraja?
No questions so far.
Okay. And this is the architecture of Talend. Okay, it is similar to the informatic architecture. It's a client server architecture. You will be doing the development from one machine, which is in your desktop, and it will be saved in a server where you have set up this repository. Okay, and this is a web browser. The scheduling will happen, or project creation, or users creation, or authorization level, accessibility, all the things will be created in the web browser. And we have admin metadata, which is DB. Actually, if you buy a Talend licensed version, you will be getting an inbuilt database with it, which is called H2 database. There's a inbuilt database that comes along with the product, which is used for storing the administrator related metadata. Right, for the tables we store the metadata, but for the administration part, again we need to store the metadata in somewhere, right? So that is admin metadata. And here it is project metadata. SVN server will be there, which is not actually part of Talend product. So you have to install SVN server like Tortoise SVN or Visual SVN. Then use that one for maintaining your projects and versions of these projects and all. SVN stands for subversion. And execution servers are responsible for executing the jobs which are scheduled at a specific point of time. Let us suppose I schedule a job to run at 8 p.m. every day. So that execution at that particular point of time will be taken care by the execution server. Okay, so we will install SVN server, and we will have the username, password, host, port, everything. And we will install execution server, and we will install command line server, and we will go to the web browser, and web browser we will introduce all these components to each other. That means here in the web browser I will mention SVN server details, command line server details, execution server details and all. So it will compile automatically, and it will create a linkage between those components for the further communication. So now you may ask one question, Govardhan, you are saying web browser, web browser. What is the URL to log in into the web browser? So once you have the, once you pay the money to Talend, you will get a zip file. That zip file will be having 5 zip files in it again. Those 5 to 6 zip files are like execution server and command line server and this database version and the studio, all this information. So you will select a server and you will do the installation there. Now once you do the installation, you simply have to go to web browser and type this URL. Okay, this is server name where we have installed Talend, and 8080 is the port through which it will be communicated. Server communication will happen through 8080 port with the product. AMC is nothing but activity monitoring console. Activity monitoring console is responsible for keeping the Talend up and running all the time. So you just need to give the server name here, and you just need to give the 8080 and AMC. Once you enter this one in the web browser, you will be asking for one username and password. Admin@company.com is the username, which is by default, and the password is admin. I hope I'm clear, Nirja.
Yes, it is clear.
Yeah. So we will, once we do the installation, first we'll pay the money, we will get the executables or product, we will install that in one server, then we will go to the browser. There we will give the details of all the components that we have installed, all the sub products that we have installed in the server. That details are given in the web browser. So once this once we have details given, then in the web browser, same web browser, you can schedule the jobs, and you can what do you say, create projects, create users. Lot of administration work can be done in the web browser. I'm not going to touch it because we are not actually dealing with the administration. Yeah. So execution servers are, I mean, this is just for the information purpose. As and when we actually deal with the projects, then I'll be able to explain you bits and pieces there to have the information with you. And this is the course that content that I generally used to prefer to give to the people who are actually trying to learn Talend. But this part is not required for us because we already have concluded that we will be discussing specific components. If you still want to go for some information, then this is how the learning objects are like. How do we open Studio and how to start it, and how do we transform the data, how do we combine the columns, and how do we duplicate the jobs. These are all basic things, and joins and lookups, how do we replicate. Okay, this is the place where context variables and what are the difference between repository context variables and global context variables, and how do we do a business model and update the business model. Business model is very little part in this data integration. And this is when working with the databases, and how do we create the tables, joining the tables, and how do we create the metadata, and how do we make use of it. And this is very advanced of Talend. And that, by the way, one point I forgot to tell you is that Talend is developed in Java. Talend backend code is Java. So Java is I mean the combination of Talend and Java will take you to the advanced usage of Talend. Yeah. So if you know the Java, you can still write some of the Java code as and when required, when you are not able to achieve one logic using the components that are available in Talend. And how this is the enterprise version, which is administration part. Job conductor, job conductor is a place where we schedule the jobs for the executions. Yeah. Any questions, Nirja, or any points where you need more information?
So the job scheduling in the context of how uh, can we schedule the jobs like we do in Big or Uzi?
So the scheduling of the jobs is like this. Okay, let me explain you. This is how it looks like when you schedule a job in Talend. Just a second, it is opening. This is how it looks like. So when you open a web browser, you will be able to see the information like this here, and you will be able to see the jobs that are scheduled here. Okay. When I say job scheduling, please think in the perspective of Talend. Okay. But whatever you are speaking like Uzi and all, right, those are the scheduling that happens in the servers where we actually install and having the data, right? For example, if you know Unix, you can schedule some shell script in the Unix itself by using cron tab, but that is in the Unix itself. So whatever the scheduling that I'm talking about here is in Talend, and the jobs that you have developed in Talend can be scheduled in this web browser using job connector. Is this clear?
Yes, clear. Yes, clear.
Okay. So if you see here, this is the label. Label is nothing but the job name.
Okay.
Okay. So this information and all we will see. Yeah. Any other questions, Nirja? Hello? Nirja, any other questions?
Yeah, no questions. It was on mute. I was talking. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, Nirja. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time. You guys are in India or in US?
We are in US.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Fine then. Thank you. Thank you, Srinivas. Thanks for connecting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nirja. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Take care,
you.
guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.